Hi guys, it's Theresa of Larkin Design, and welcome to my Photoshop tutorial for this week. This is number 3, and today I'm going to actually work with one of the templates that is from Sahlin Studio. It's a February template, and it's available at the lily pad. I will have links below and links on my blog for you. And so I'm already in the template itself, and I wanted to just show you real quick a run through of what I do to create my 12 by 24 layouts in Photoshop using these templates. Now you will see this template is 12 by 12, and I am actually going to create a 12 by 24 layout using this template, which means that we have to move some things around and duplicate some things or make our own for other things, just depending on the story that you're wishing to tell. And so today I'm going to share with you that part of it. I'm going to share with you how I move things around so that I can create a 24-inch wide spread using this template. So first I'm going to click on my background layer. Now this is right now locked, and I'm going to leave that locked. It's just the basic white background. But I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to click on this icon that looks like a page, and that adds layer 1. Now, when I have layer 1, then I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to my image size, or my canvas size. And our canvas size says, as we know, 12 by 12 inches. I'm going to change the width to 24, so that it will now be 12 inches high and 24 inches wide. And when you click OK, then your canvas will turn into a broader canvas. Okay? So now what we have is our 12 by 12 template on a 12 by 24 layout. So if you wanted, you could just pull in your pattern papers and create your layout like this and print it in 2 pieces. Or you can do what I'm going to do, which is I'm going to move some things and duplicate a few things here and there so that the frames will go across both sides of the layout. And so what I'm going to do here is a little bit of tic-tac-toe. Now you'll see here that there are a couple of red X's. There are a couple of overlays here that sort of cross over from frame to frame. This typically, in digital design, tells you this is where you can put an embellishment or something that you want to use. And I think that it's probably, yep, it's on the Delete Elements Here layer. If you don't want to see that, you can just click that eyeball and it will turn that off. And then there's also a piece of washi tape right here, and that is next to it, and you can turn that off or on here as well. Now frequently in the Sahlin Studio Elements packs you will find washi tape strips, and so you could use one of those there. I'm going to leave those layers there just in case I want them later. I am going to turn both of them off. And so now what we're left with is our template with different size photos and frames for pattern papers or elements, and a couple of opportunities for journaling and titles. So let's get started. Like I was saying, I am going to do a bit of tic-tac-toe here. And what that means is there are some varied elements here that are, when I'm looking at taking something from 12 by 12 to 12 by 24, I kind of want to see how can I continue to move your eye across the page. And what happens when you look at this 12 by 12, your eye immediately goes here to the largest title, right? And then it's carried around here to this. This is sort of the pattern that this visual design takes you. Yours might be a little bit different. Your eye might see this a little bit differently, but that's what I see when I look at this. And so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to locate this layer right here. And it's right here, large photo. And I'm in the move tool. So when I click on that, it will bring up the corners so that you can move it as you need to. Now, there's also a title that's associated with it. So I'm going to press the Shift key and click on that title. And then whatever I do to one, it will do to both of them. So I'm going to move that here to this corner. And you can see that the guides pop up and they show me that I'm keeping center. I'll probably go back later and refine that border. I usually have to zoom in a little bit once I have elements here and I know that I'm sort of overlapping a little bit. Okay, and I think that I'm going to leave this here and then go play over here a little bit and worry about what I'm going to do here in just a minute, here and here in just a minute. I will probably leave this space just a 4x6 pattern paper or photo. But I'm not sure yet. Feel free to jump around the page as you are moved to do things. One thing that I do want to do is work with this here. And what I think I want to do is have this one here, have one here, and have one here, so that our eye continues moving in that circular pattern. And that means copying that one twice and then moving these two over here. So let's set off to do that. We have this photo layer here and the journal over photo layer here. And I'm going to right click on those and it says duplicate layers. Click duplicate layers. Okay. So now we have two more of those. They're just sitting on top of the original two. Okay. So when I click my move tool and drag it across, there it is. I'm going to line it up with the center point, and that is our duplicate. Now, before we duplicate that again, we need to move these two over here. So let's go and do that. Those are these blocks right here. Okay, so this one, and I'm pressing the Shift key to highlight multiple layers. This one, the journaling here, and the paper. Okay, and now that we have them all selected, we can use our move tool and slide them over here. Okay, so now we can go back up here to these two and hit duplicate layers again. Okay, and then bring that down here. So this is setting up a nice grid for us. Okay, and now if it's looking visually heavy to you, you can change the colors, right? Just click in your color picker tool and your paint bucket. Let's see, and you can change the color so it doesn't look so dark or heavy. And obviously we're going to put photos and pattern paper there too. And that will help. But there we go. This way we know. And I love this because there's opportunity for journaling right on your photos, right? And obviously you can extend this journaling up the side of your photo if that's what you want to do. Pretty easy peasy. I love the mirroring here. There's this block here, right? And this block here. We will want probably another 4x6 to balance these three. So I'm probably going to do a 4x6 here. So let me go ahead and do that. just duplicate layers again. Let that chuck for a minute. And then go to our Move tool. And, oh, it's this one, okay. And then we, oh, it wants to be finicky. There we go. And make sure that we get it centered up with both blocks. Okay, so we've got this space here still and this space here. And we already have these repeated twice, so I don't know that we need to repeat those again. But we do have some options for repeating these two elements. And obviously this is the same as this, so no real difference there. But if you wanted to say, okay, these are going to be photos and these are going to be pattern papers, then you sort of have a visual cue as to what your balance is. It's one way to use these colors to tell you how your layout is balanced. So let me go over here and click on that one to activate this layer, and then duplicate layer, click OK, and we're going to slide it over here. I'll probably put it under here just for visual interest. Okay. And certainly if you wanted to repeat this element here, you could, and then you would have sort of another checkerboard pattern. I think that I'm going to just do both of these like this. They'll probably be journaling cards of some sort. Right, you know, or pattern paper. Okay, and I'll have to go in and refine those a little bit. They look like they're a tiny bit shorter than this. I'm not sure, though, until I go into it. And then we have this spot and this spot here. So I think that I'm probably just going to copy one of these with no text. I'll copy this one. Okay. Slide that down there. And then do that one more time. And of course, these can always be changed as you're working with them. This is just to give you an accountability of all your frames here that are available. There's also a little bit of touch up here that needs to happen. What happens when you use one frame to cover more than one space is that it's going to mess with your margins a little bit. So we'll have to resize these. So let me show you how we can adjust those so that they still fit in here, fit in the space that we have. Let's just zoom in on this one. This one is the first one that jumps out at me. And I'm going to click on that frame. There we go. Now, I do not want my aspect ratio left on here. I want it to snap into the grid or snap to the guides so that I know that I'm meeting those frames or those margins. And if for some reason a guide doesn't come up where you need it to, remember that you can go to the far ruler and bring that in and have a guide that way, and then line it up to that ruler. Okay, and then these, let's see how that looks there. Yeah, that looks great there. Now we're going to do this again with these two. Let's line up our ruler. Go up here to these two. And obviously you can see that it affects this one. a little bit too. So let's worry about these first. I want to pull these down. So let's find the layer that they're on. Where's our move tool? Apply the transformation. Ah, yes. I regularly forget to hit OK when I when I move something. There we go. For now, let's bring that down and snap it there. And then it will snap to the one beside it. There we go. Okay. Oh, hit OK, yes. And then go over here and bring this one down. Okay, and then up just a little bit. And you can see that all three of these are lined up now. And then we need to come over here and adjust this one right here. Oh, click OK again. I'm very bad about leaving those not okay. Not that one. There we go. Now, these two are connected. These four are connected. And when I mean connected, they're not linked or grouped together, but they do sort of match up to fit in the same frame. We're going to tweak that just a little bit. Now, one thing that we can do is click all three of them together. And click move, fix our aspect ratio, and adjust them all together. That's one thing that we can do. The odds of that fitting in the space that we need it to fit into are probably a little bit slim, but let's see. That gave us our center line. Let's click OK. And then pull a guide down here. Yeah, this one needs to come up just a little bit. Okay. And our margin here is a little bit off as well. So let's pull this in to line up with the black one below it. Ah, come here. There we go. And click OK. And then let's do both of these together and line those up down here. Maybe. It's not going to give me that guideline, so let me move this one over here. And now I can pull that out. There we go. Okay. And then click OK. And let's make sure that that is correct. It's not. And I think this margin here gets a little bit narrow. So what we're going to do here is we're going to tuck both of these in just a little bit so that they will both match up. There we go. And click OK on that. Then let's see. This one needs to be adjusted now too. So you can see that when you adjust one, it's sort of a domino effect, and that's okay. You'll play around with it a little bit here and there, and eventually it'll all come together, and then you'll be ready to bring in all your elements. This template does have a small margin, and so I'm going to show you what I do when that happens, because you can tell this is not enough of a margin for 2 printouts, right? So, so now we have to set about to make a wider margin here, and there's a couple of ways to do that. Probably the one that I use most commonly is to just select the layers that I want to move, and I size them down using the Move tool. That way you don't have to go through all this lining up again. So we know that we have these already selected, and we need to find the others on the page. Let's see, and I just go by where they are in the little graph here. That one, oops, not all those. Okay, try again. We want to do the control button. Okay, so let me grab those again. I think that's all those. And then, nope. No, not that one. That one. There we go. And it's times like these that undo is your friend. Okay. I think we've got one that is not part of what we're wanting to do. Keep your finger on the control button. There we go. It was that journal over photo copy 3. Okay, so now I'm going to go up here to view and click on show and have it show me the grid. Okay, and now I can sort of see what I'm wanting to do is to create a like 1/4 inch border, right? Bit, and then go back to our Move tool, and we still have everything highlighted. A 1/4 inch, and you're getting some dimensions there, right? Your dimension of 11.677. I don't know that we're wanting 11.5. Probably 11.7 is a good good number to aim for. And if you don't get it exact, that's okay too. Okay, so 2 of them didn't get the memo. That's okay. Apply. And it's checking. Okay. Let's do that again here. And here we'll find that it's sizing it better down to 11.5, which is more of what we want. Okay. And then that's going to chug a little bit again. Okay. And now we've got to work on fixing these. So that means finding where they are. Yep. 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 Okay. And let's click the set the aspect ratio on these, because we know that we had them at the right size previously. I'm sorry if you hear my dog barking. He's actually sleeping. He's barking in his sleep. Okay. And looking for the pink guide. Does not want to come up. Let's see. Looks a little bit long. They look a little bit long here, don't they? That was it. There we go. Okay. Let's zoom out. And now you can see that we're getting closer to our normal margin width this side. Now we got to do the same thing over here. So let's click on the layers that are relevant over here. Okay, I don't think we need to move layer 1. Okay, so now that we have them all selected, let's zoom back in. Now we're just going to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to select our move tool with everything highlighted. I'm going to try and bring it into this margin here. Let's lock the aspect ratio. That way we know everything will kind of stay. And I'm just using my mouse to scroll up. Looks like I might have to release the aspect ratio, control here, and pull this out just a little bit. Okay, here we go. Let that do its magic, and then we can click zoom, hit the screen again, and everything should be where it needs to be. So now we have 2 margins in here for printing and a healthy margin around also for printing and for the pattern papers. Now, of course, if you want to make these margins larger in here, you can do that. I think that I'm going to leave them the way they are. It's kind of nice to work with a more narrow margin. And at this point, I'm going to go back here and turn off the grid so I can see what I'm working with. And now we can start pulling in our elements and our photos. I do see one discrepancy right here. Yeah. These 3 cards are not lined up. Let me go in here. Are they lined up on the other side? Okay, that one needs to be moved a little bit. That one, yep. That one and the journaling. Okay. There we go. And then these 4. Then a minor adjustment on this one as well. It just needs to be moved over a tad bit. I think. Okay. Let's see. Just one more little detailed check here. Okay. Looks like I can say goodbye to all the horizontal guides, and let's check the vertical guides. Fantastic. Okay, so that is, I think I'm going to wrap it up here for today. And then next week I'll share with you how I bring in all my photos and my elements and my journaling cards and actually create the layout itself. And of course, you'll get to see how this layout turns out with the photos and the pattern papers in the next video when I add my physical embellishments to the layout. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you back here again soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.